Then she talked about having a gun, that she keeps it on her at all times. She did. So this woman was saying all this stuff like, you don't know the I am. I'm like, no, I don't know who you are. So I did a little research and I found out who this bitch is.
What is it?
So who is this hoe? Who is this hoe?
Hi, you guys. So, I wanted to come on and to discuss Kenya Moore's confessional. These are my confessions. So, I guess she's going to do that every week. She was saying she'll see us next week. So, I'm assuming she's going to just recap every week, right? Because it sounds like to me, this is going to be Britney's storyline. And, because she was, of course, still on the situation while a lot of us are ready to move on, right? But yeah, I felt like Kenya answered a lot of questions. She had this posted in her stories to ask her whatever questions you wanted her to answer. And she seemed to do just that. And I think that she wanted to address a lot of the stuff that's kind of floating out here as far as, was it legal or illegal, or however you choose to word that, for her to use the pictures of Britney. And you guys remember that her aunt, who used to appear on the show in the very beginning when Kenya first came on there, is also an attorney, right? So I'm sure she have people that she can contact to run stuff by before she just run out and do things. And I was really hoping that she did do that, because you don't want to get out here doing certain things. But I also agree with Dr. Heavenly. If people down to the Bravo really thought that was just so horrible, so terrible, they would have just they would have scrapped the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? It just took Britney in a whole different direction. Because we did not have to even know that happened. We did not have to see it, even though there were people there. Of course, I get it. From the general public or people about town who probably would have said something about it. I still feel like even with them talking, they still could have taken it out if it was that bad. So I do agree with Dr. Heavenly about that. I thought that was a really good point that she made. Y'all know. And so, I thought that was a good point. And then we just would have been hearing about it, but we didn't need to see any of it if they thought it was all that bad. And that's why I said that wasn't enough to release her over. But Portia is using the word fired, right? Portia's using the word fired. And so I thought she was suspended. And I don't remember now, but I don't think she even touched on that. I think she might have said she was fired as well. I don't really know. But I feel like if she did say it, she didn't really talk about it. Like she said, she didn't want to talk about Cynthia. Like she was like, I don't want to talk about Cynthia, because Cynthia was giving off vibes like something's going on between them. She was talking about, the Portia situation where Portia was saying like somebody was there that told her. And I think that it kind of came up about Drew, which I thought it was Kelly. And but because I felt like Kelly was the only person that really would know anything about Britney, right? Since they had some type of relationship before they came on the show. But I guess Drew was claiming she recognized some guy. And, I feel like Drew just be saying stuff, but I like her, but I feel like she definitely just says a lot of stuff that is not necessarily true. And so back to Kenya. Kenya was answering the questions, and she was talking about how the stuff that she used on these billboards was already on sites that were already out here, which means that Britney signed off for these things to be out in the public. Okay, because you guys know there's Pornhub, there's OnlyFans, there's all this stuff out here already, right? So And what was there like? Was that like a Twitter after dark or something? Was it Twitter after dark or Instagram after dark? It was one of those. It's one of those sites that I don't hear people talking about it as much anymore. Um, and so when you put stuff out here, it's kind of out here. So that is the difference. And that's what I was wondering. Like, if the stuff is already out here, how is she, I feel like revenge porn is when the person that you're doing this to it's something that you're putting out here that nobody else have seen, maybe except the person in the video. It's something that maybe they didn't even know they were being filmed. I think it's things like that, or somebody that don't even know the person, but you hacked into somebody's phone, and now you're doing stuff that's underhanded to that person, and you don't even know the person, or you have something against the person, but nobody would even know about these images or these videos. I think that's more in line with what people are thinking about. I think that since she is admitting that she was in some line of work, I think she said she was a web girl, a cam girl, webcam. And obviously she did not want to put all her business out here like that, and nobody can blame her. It's really, I was going to say it's nobody's business, but once you sign up to do one of these reality shows, you have to know people are going to come and comb over your whole life, right? And so she had to know this stuff was going to happen. So she was explaining that. She was also explaining that she do have someone that she was getting advice from. And that's what I was thinking, like somebody, because I remember her aunt, and I know her aunt was an attorney. She didn't just jump up and do this the way people would like to think. Even though I still don't agree with it. I don't like stuff like that. I don't think it's cool to do people like that. I think that she could have got at her some other way. But Kenya, what we know about Kenya is Kenya always come with antics. And so this is not new. And when you decide you want to rumble with somebody like that, you never know what to expect from them. And that's just kind of how that ball is falling. I think that Brittany maybe she wasn't expecting that to go that way. And here's another thing I'm going to say that I don't really hear people saying. I also feel like Bravo already knew all this stuff about Brittany, too. I feel like not only are people, as far as the content creators and the media, are going to go comb over your whole life. Before they sign you, they know what you're doing. They knew all that stuff about Marlo before they put Marlo on that show. They know this stuff about Brittany before they put Brittany on that show. Okay, and I said what I said. That's what I believe. Okay, they're going to do a thorough background check on you. They're not going to bring you in to these multi-million-dollar women and have you up in these people's face. You know what I'm saying? So that's my opinion. But yeah, I thought the confessional was smart because she answered the stuff that's kind of moving around out here. The thing that I wanted to bring up that I don't really hear people talking about is she had on this ring, and I think that was her wedding ring, and she also had the band on. So I don't know if she's back with Marc, because she posted Marc in Brooklyn in her stories, and maybe he's just in town for the holidays. I don't know. Or if they're back together. I know some other content creators were reporting that she's in a relationship that she's just not talking about. Obviously, she's not on the show, so she's not going to talk about it anyway. But yeah, I noticed that she had the ring on, but then I was thinking maybe she's she's doing this towards Brittany, right? So I don't know, because that's how their whole conversation, I guess, started, because Brittany had on the ring and she didn't have on her band. She talked about that as well. She said that there was things that we did not see. And that's what I was thinking. Like, Brittany, because she was uptight and she was on 20. And Kenya wasn't doing that much to her for her to act that way. Now, when she called her a peasant or whatever, if you want to get upset over that, then it is what it is. But even that wasn't no big deal, because somebody pulled the clip when Kenya was getting into it with Michael Rappaport. She called him a peasant as well. So this is not something that you have to start talking about. You pulling out the pow-pows or in the whips and all that over. But I digress. let me, and I almost wonder now that she's talking about, because Brittany says she was in these webcam things with another woman. I'm also starting to wonder if she has some type of attraction towards Kenya, because the way she was dealing with Kenya is very odd to me. It's very weird. And maybe that's that way because I don't move like that. And maybe she is doing some of these things because maybe she liked Kenya. You guys get what I'm saying? And maybe that some of us are just not picking up on that. I don't know. I started to think about that when she said that she was in the webcam video with another woman. And I think somebody else was saying she might have dated, what's the girl's name that came up as well? Ming Lee or somebody. Or I don't know. Like she was dating a woman. So I'm kind of wondering if maybe she's attracted to Kenya and that's why she's overreacting to the way Kenya is responding to her. Because sometimes these women, like Candy, are married to men and they still do whatever they do, child, out here with these women. So it could be that. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments if you guys see what I mean when I'm saying that. Because I could be wrong, and I'm not saying that is true. That's all allegedly. But it dawned on me, well, maybe she's attracted to Kenya, like that. Because, yeah, she could just be fanning out as well. But I don't know. It's a little too emotional for me. But I do see that she's kind of uptight with all of the girls. But the Kenya thing, I don't know. Because Kenya said she was saying a lot of stuff that we just didn't see. So that they cut out. But let me know what you guys think. And let me know what you guys think about what Dr. Heavenly was saying as well, as far as if they had that big of a deal with anything, why didn't they just cut the whole story, right? Let me know what y'all think about that as well. And I'll see you guys in the next video because I'm going to try to make a video about Portia's video as well. Bye.